What are some forgotten weapons of Elden Ring? And by forgotten, I mean that they have a low enough drop chance that you can easily miss them unless you go out of your way to get them. I got so many responses to my first video on this, I wanted to do a follow-up. By far the most mentioned weapon was the Scythe. A wise man once said half of being a badass is looking like a badass. And this baby has all the edge you could ever want. The great thing about this is that you can farm it very early on. Bypass Stormvale on the right side of the castle to get to the beginning of Liurnia. Right past the first Grace is a small cemetery with 3 scythe-wielding skeletons. If you have holy damage, I'd recommend using that to prevent them from respawning. I farmed 2 of these in my first playthrough and loved them. It has built-in bleed buildup, and I infused 1 with cold for added frost buildup and 1 heavy to scale with strength. I can only hope we see more Scythe representation in the DLC. Next up is the Iron Greatsword. It's kind of funny that one of the most generically named weapons is actually the hardest hitting one in its weapon class. Unfortunately, it's gated by a pretty rough farm. You need to kill a misbegotten that carries one. The best farm is at Miquella's Hayleg tree, just before the Town Plaza Grace. This guy hits like a truck and is basically a mini-boss. You need to get good or get creative to kill this guy until you get one. But the payoff is worth it for the best strength scaling greatsword. Toss Lion's Claw on there to take care of anything you come up against. Lastly is the noble Slender sword. Long and slender is not how they described me back in school, but luckily this sword compensates for that. This is the longest straight sword in the game, but maybe the longest farm as well. This thing has a wonderful drop rate of 0.5% at base discovery. Theoretically, you'd need to kill 200 nobles to get one, but even this feels like an understatement. I increased my arcane to 99 and used every discovery boost item in the game. It still took an hour to get 1 clip of it dropping. I used the cemetery directly south of the Caelid Highway South Grace, which has several nobles with the sword. The real question, is it worth the effort? I personally find straight swords to be too vanilla, but I threw sword dance on this and I enjoyed the moveset quite a bit. For the right person, this will be best in class. The Shadow of the Erdtree hype continues to grow every day. What weapon class are you hoping gets some love in the DLC?